Hi there. So today I wanted to talk to you all about something that touches millions of people all over the world and including myself. And that's depression. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about, clinical deep depression that goes on for, weeks or months or years. I'm no expert in that. So if you're feeling that, if you're feeling down and depressed and sad, and it's been a long time, or you're suicidal, you're thinking about hurting yourself or someone else even, please get professional help. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the type of depression where you just feel down and sad, maybe unmotivated, um, feel kind of lethargic. Maybe you're having a hard time getting out of bed for a couple of days, crying. That's something that I go through, and I have had bouts of depression like that throughout my lifetime. And I will say, there have been times where it was, just ways of that I've been able to get myself out of these bouts of depression that I have, in hopes that maybe it helps you. So most recently, I'd say over the last couple of weeks, I've been kind of having these episodes where I'm going up and down, feeling like some days I'm really sad, and unmotivated and lethargic and just really not wanting to deal with life or dealing with whatever is happening in life. Kind of, just like, oh, I'm just gonna either lay in bed or I'm just gonna sit on the couch and not wanting to, get up and do anything. And, some days are better than others. And then I'll even have moments in between where there might be a couple of good days and I don't feel sad or depressed or unmotivated. But it's kind of been ebbing and flowing. And so, what gets me to that point? I think a lot about it. Like I said, I've gone through this many times in my life. And so I've thought a lot about how do I get here. Sometimes I never know. All of a sudden I'll just realize one day, like, I'm feeling pretty crappy. And I can't quite figure out what made me feel that way. And other times I'm much better at analyzing it, I guess, and figuring it out. So I started thinking about it since I've been this way during this episode, probably a couple of weeks. I went on a girls' trip a couple of weekends ago, and I was super looking forward to it, and I had a good time, but I also had moments where I was sad, and I actually had a couple of episodes where I was crying pretty hard, like ugly crying, and my friends were like, what is going on? And I was boo-hooing to them, and they were helpful, but then I felt really guilty because I'm like, here we're on this girls trip and we're supposed to be having a good time, and I'm bawling my eyes out and ruining it for everybody. Of course they didn't say that I was ruining it for them, but that's how I felt. I felt guilty, and then guess what? Then that just made me feel worse. So then that helped me kind of continue to spiral down because I was feeling bad about it, feeling all this guilt and making myself feel worse, instead of giving myself some empathy and compassion about where I was, and realizing that, sometimes that's what it takes. So, again, it's funny because even when you speak it out loud, I find sometimes I'm like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, why am I depressed or sad? Like, I don't have anything major going on. And that's kind of how I help myself get out of it. So I've been down and sad for a variety of reasons. One, my beloved dog, who I love very much like a child, and I treat him very much like a child, has been sick off and on for a while. And I've been very stressed out and upset and scared over his health and what's going on with him and how do I take care of him. And it's frustrating and scary. And I have some family members who are having some health issues, getting older, and we're at that stage, probably like many of us at this, point in our lives at this age, where you're dealing with elderly parents and trying to make sure they have what they need, getting the care they need, maybe needing to move them, to a different living situation. Then I have a significant other who I live with who is having his own health challenges. I'm worrying about him, trying to help take care of him. And then I just retired a couple of months ago, early. I retired about 1.5 years early, which I'm super happy that I retired, and I love being retired. But it comes with its own challenges and stresses. I've been pretty stressed out about my financial situation since I did retire early. There were some implications. So that's been on my mind a lot. And then also my business. So I've been very unmotivated lately and just feeling like I don't know if I am doing the right thing, and is this really the right thing for me? Maybe I made a bad choice. Maybe it's really just not working, and just feeling like I don't want to put in the time and the effort. And so it's really just been like a lot of different things, feeling like it's, not going my way. Like everything is just negative. Everything is kind of just, like I said, not going my way. And feeling like just everything, like nothing good is happening. Like what? There's nothing good happening. Like everything I try to do goes south. That's how I've been feeling. And so, like I said, I've been wallowing in it, probably for a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks. So after, really wallowing in it, I guess is how I like to put it. Because sometimes I just want to feel bad. I want to sit in it. I've just started kind of thinking about, what could I be doing different? What is in my control at this point? What can I control that may make me feel better? Because there's a lot of things I can't control. I can't control my family's health. I can't control my father getting older. I can't control my dog being ill. I can't control that I had to retire earlier than I had anticipated, or that I had to be forced to make that decision. Or, so what are those things that are in my control? So I started thinking about that. All right, let me write this down. What can I control? And what can I control? And those things that I can't control, I need to just say, you know what? I'm going to let this go. And, it's going to work out the way it will. Or in that larger scenario around, for example, again, my dog's health. I can't control his health, but I can control what I do about it, or how I handle it, how it makes me feel. Maybe I need to call the vet back and see if there's any more tests they can do, or maybe I need to change his diet again. Or maybe I just need to spend more time with my dog, and that'll make me feel better. Because if we don't have a lot of time left, I at least want to spend the time I have left with him, having fun and playing. Or maybe I can't control my father being 90 and getting older, but I can spend more time with my dad, or I can try to make him more comfortable, and what does he need and what does he want, and how can I help him in those things. So there may be some parts of it I can't control, but there are some pieces that I can control. And then what am I comfortable with within that? What's within my means? What's within my schedule and my ability to control? So that, I think, started lifting it a little bit. And I started saying, okay, well, these are some things I can do, and these are some things I'm comfortable doing, or these are some things I have the means to do or the time to do. And then I also started thinking about, what would I say to my clients? So when I've had clients come to me with similar types of scenarios, what did we talk about? What did they do to make themselves feel better? What suggestions did I give, or what things did they tap into that may be able to help me? So I started thinking about it. And I thought, okay, maybe I can reach out to my financial advisor and see if there is something I can do to make myself feel more financially secure. So I scheduled an appointment. And then once I had a conversation with them, I actually felt better about my scenario. It's not what I wanted it to be, but I'm really not as bad off as I felt like I was. They broke everything down, gave me, a budget. We talked about different things I can do. And I said, okay, this is as bad as I thought. So here I'd been spending all this time wallowing in, I'm not financially stable, but actually I am. I just had decided in my head that I wasn't, but really that wasn't true. Once I had the concrete information and facts, I said, oh, okay, that's a lot better than I thought, rather than me just making it up in my head and being worried about it. And then as far as my business goes, I started thinking about, okay, maybe sometimes it's okay to take a step back and reassess what it is I'm doing or how I'm doing it. Or is it even what I want to do? Maybe it's okay to take a couple of days off and think about it and really get clear about where my passion is and what do I really want my business to look like? How much time and effort do I want to put into it? Because again, it's a part-time business. So was I putting too much pressure on myself so that it was almost becoming a full-time job? Or was I maybe not doing enough? And if I did a little more in certain areas, I'd feel better about it. I don't know. So that's one of the things I need to sit down and really spend some time on and think through. And then, again, family members or significant others who are having health issues. I can't control their health issues, but I can control how involved I am in it. Maybe I need to take them to more doctor's appointments so that I feel like I'm being helpful. Or maybe I need to go to less doctor's appointments so that I'm not feeling overwhelmed by my schedule and my time being taken up with that, rather than spending time making sure I'm feeling healthy and good. So really reassessing where I'm being involved and where am I making the most impact and the most help. And once I started kind of stepping back and looking at these scenarios and then looking at, is there anything that's going on? I was making these global statements around nothing's going right for me. And we've talked about that before. When you make global statements, most of the time it's not true. So I started questioning myself, is that really true that nothing is going well for me? And I thought, okay, well, you know what? Again, my health is good. I'm doing well. My dog is sick and dealing with some serious health issues, but he's not dying. My father may be turning 90 and having additional needs and things that we need to help him with, but he's in pretty good health, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon, from what I can tell. And same with my significant other. He may having some surgeries and some things that are concerning, and taking more of our time around health situations and appointments and surgeries and that type of thing. But again, none of it is life-threatening, so he's not going anywhere either. So maybe I was making things worse than they really are, and making myself feel worse than I really needed to feel. Having said that, I also need to own that there's a lot going on, and that's not small. And I need to respect the way I'm feeling, and give myself grace. But I also feel like I need to say things are not as bad as maybe I was making them out to be, and things will get better, and little by little things will improve, and I can have a different outlook on it. The sun's not out today. It's a very cloudy day, but it will come out tomorrow. I have a beautiful home, a roof over my head. I have food to eat. There's a lot of positive, good things. And I'm sure if I sat down and kept thinking about it, I could come up with a lot more positive things. So I just wanted to share that with you, that that's my experience and that's what I've been going through. And I know many of you go through similar scenarios. And so I just thought I would share that in hopes that it maybe helps one of you when you're feeling down, that there are others who are out there who are feeling the same way, and maybe you too can work through it, and find your way back out of the sadness. That's my hope for you.